Hey guys, how's it going? So today's topic is going to be how to become a more consistent yo-yo player. So for those of you who are interested, I wrote a blog post on this some time ago, and this is the fully fledged video to go with it. If you go ahead and read the blog post, it's got 4 points there. I'm adding an extra 2, so this video is actually going to add more value than the blog post itself. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first concept I want to introduce to you guys is this idea of building your trick muscle. Now what do I mean by building your trick muscle? What I mean is that there's this fundamental process you need to go to get your trick consistent, okay? Now, I want you to guys imagine it a sec, right? There's a guy, he wants to get stronger, so he goes to the gym and he starts lifting weights. And his logic is, alright, I'm gonna go into the gym, I'm gonna spend 8 hours in here, and I'm just gonna keep lifting weights until I get physically stronger, okay? That's not gonna work, right? It's retarded. You think, okay, what a total weirdo. That's not how it works. It's not how muscles are built, you know? You need to repair, you need to rest up, you need to basically get to the point where you go in there multiple days, and that's how you get stronger. But then, the same people who say that will pick up a yo-yo and be like, alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit in a room, practice the same trick for 8 hours, and then once I'm done with that, I've got the trick consistent for life. Doesn't work, okay? You need to practice the trick, rest, recover, practice it again, rest, recover, and it has to be done over a prolonged period of time. This is something that is hard to swallow, and some people pick up tricks faster than others. There is an inherent part of talent in the equation, but just like it's easier for some people to build muscle than others, consistency is always the winning strategy. So for me, right, I'm a really inconsistent yo-yo player. So if I make a new trick that's unlike anything else I'd ever done before, it'll take me about 3 months to get it to the point where I can like talk to someone, make a review, and do that trick and land it with relative consistency. 3 months to get it to the point where I can be like, hey guys, how's it going? I'm checking out this yo-yo and blah 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 blah, and I get all these comments saying, wow Brandon, you're so good. 3 months for one new combo. That's how long it takes me. It might take you less, it might take you more. Doesn't matter. But that's what I mean by building this idea of trick muscle. It can't be done in one night. It has to be done over a prolonged period of time. The amount of time it takes for you depends on how talented you are. The second concept I want to introduce to you guys is practicing with speed. Now, practicing with speed does 2 different things. If you can land a trick quickly, that means that you've really consolidated all the elements. All the elements flow nicely, they flow in a way that's nice and sequential, very, very easy to kind of maneuver, and that means that the trick structure is good and that you've become very fluent with the trick. The second part is that trick speed allows you to more accurately hit tricks to music cues, okay? So we're practicing for a competition, and consistency is only important when you're practicing for competition. So imagine now you're in a competition, right? You're building your freestyle, and you get to this one point where you really have a trick that's gonna fit with this music cue. The music cue is just a little bit faster than the trick you normally do, like when you're just doing it normally, and every single time you try and hit this particular trick to that music cue, you mess up, because fundamentally the music cue goes slightly faster than how normally you do the trick, okay? This is another important reason for building speed. It's infinitely easier to hit a music cue and deliberately slow down your trick than it is to try to hit one and speed it up. So for NYC 2017, there was a particular part in my routine where these 3 triangles hit to music cues. Right? And prior to this, I wasn't very fluent at this trick. I was really slow at it. I'd get it to the point where it's like, what I did was I tried to practice speeding it up. I deliberately went and tried to do the trick as fast as humanly possible, and it got to the point where my baseline speed for the trick sped up fast enough that I could comfortably hit that music cue. So yeah, practicing speed certifies that the flow and trick structure is good, and also allows you to more confidently hit music cues. Okay, so my next trick is one that is best with another person, but the fundamental concept is measuring your misses. Okay, now the great thing about misses is that when you miss, it's black or white. It's like, there is no discrepancy. If the judges were all as top-notch as they claim, their negative clickers should all be in the same unison. okay? When you miss a trick, you miss a trick, okay? Now, that is great because positive tricks, you know, everyone has different logics, different styles, different methods of clicking positive tricks. So you can't use positive clicks as a tangible, unambiguous metric of improvement. You can use misses. So what I did was I got my now ex-girlfriend, and basically what she did was she sat there with the clickers, and I do my performance, and every single time I miss, I'd be like, miss, and she'd click, miss, click, miss, click. And basically she got to the point where she could realize what was a miss, what wasn't, so she could do it herself. And she would literally measure my kind of misses with kind of each yo-yo performance, and I could see the numbers, and I could see them trending downwards the more I practiced. What gets measured gets managed. So basically, measuring your misses is a great way to track your consistency gains over time. So the last concept I'm gonna give you guys is this idea of having a poker face. Now, this is an idea that Wayne said to me, but basically, it's this idea that if you miss, make it as subtle as possible, and not particularly with the tricks, but with your facial expressions. So I'm gonna do two tricks for you guys, right? I'm gonna do one, right? That's landing it, and then this is me missing it. Right? Second time. The second one is less obvious, okay? Now, that's a pretty, like, common element, everyone knows that, but the main thing is that not every judge will know your trick back to back, which is kind of a good thing, meaning that if I try to do something like that, right? And that's my trick, but then I miss and I end up doing something like that. If I don't make it completely obvious that I actually missed that, I might even get a point. So I might be like, uh-oh. Or instead of being like, you know, my hand doesn't come around in time and I'm like, I land the string there. If I kind of play it off, keep a poker face, I might even get an extra point. A miss might go under the radar of the judges. Okay, so this is, the main point I'm trying to say is that judges can be fooled, okay? They're human. It's a human thing. It's not a computer that's detecting you, okay? So if you try and play it off, you can ride this idea of human error and get one or two less misses in your performance than you actually deserve. And that might actually make the difference between winning and losing a yo-yo competition. So for those of you who are avid readers out there who like pumped out the content, read the blog post, that's all I discussed in my blog post. And I fundamentally think that when I wrote that blog post, that was kind of all I knew about building trick consistency. Whereas now there are two other elements that happen during the contest itself. And these are areas that I neglected prior to this point. So this is a sad story. This is the story of how I lost ANYC. So other than the fact that I got beaten by a better player, the main reason for why my ANYC routine was so sloppy or so inconsistent wasn't to do with my preparation. I prepared as well as I possibly could have. It was to do with what I did on the actual day of the competition. So the next thing is managing fatigue on competition day. So when I went to ANYC, you know, I stayed up late that night before the competition, me and my girlfriend just practicing tricks, okay? Just going through it, practicing tricks, right? I went to bed at like 2 to 3 a.m., woke up at 9. It wasn't that like bad, but I was more fatigued than general. Then I went to the contest and, you know, I had to film the freestyles. I had to judge parts of ANYC. I was competing in the Y division, 4A division, 5A division. I was manning the offset yo-yo booth. I was doing all these things that when it finally came time to do what really mattered and pump my 3-minute 1A finals performance, I was so physically drained that I did a performance that was below what I normally would. So contrast this ANYC story with my other contest. So what happened was, you know, I barely prepared for this contest. I basically listened to some music while I was on the train, found a song, threw together a freestyle with some pretty consolidated tricks, and I did it once, twice, maybe 2 or 3 times. Got to the point where I was like, okay, this is good, and this is where the point occurred. I could either sleep or I could practice the competition routine for another hour or so and wake up really sleep deprived for the next day. What I chose was sleep. I basically turned off the lights, went to bed, got up the next morning, ran through it a couple more times, and then when I was at the contest, wasn't doing anything else, just chilling, chatting with other yo-yo players. And then when I went on stage, I hit the cleanest routine, the cleanest preliminary performance ever. If you guys watch that routine, there's arguably only one miss, and if I'm gonna be really strict with myself, 2 misses in that entire preliminary performance for a freestyle that I made the night before, right? Now, I don't want to be this guy that's like, oh, no practice makes you better. Okay, if I had practiced that routine, it may have even been 100% clean. What I attribute it to is the fact that I was filled with energy the next day. Okay, I wasn't tired, wasn't yawning, wasn't fatigued. I was fully in it. And that was the reason that I was able to hit such a consistent routine. Yes, the tricks were consolidated later, okay? Yes, the routine was with minimal practice, but just the fact that you're not fatigued gives you a more consistent freestyle on the day. Last tip. Now this is really kind of like a magic bullet, okay? So you ever have those bad freestyle days where no matter what you do, you just can't hit your tricks? And it's even better if you measure your misses because you're like, oh man, my misses are like, let's say you normally have like 10 misses and today it's like 19, 20, 22. You're like, what's going on? What I'll do is I'll stop, take a break, and I'm not kidding, drink a bottle of water, okay? This is about 500 mils. And what I'll do is I'll down the whole thing, chill for 10 minutes, and be like, all right, get back into it, and I assure you that if you do that, your freestyle gets cleaner. For some reason, when you're fully hydrated, you're able to focus a lot better, and that focus in turns basically turns into better consistency. So a ritual of mine is to always kind of have a bottle of water nearby, and I'll drink some water before the yo-yo contest, not too much so I don't have to go to the bathroom, but I'll just drink a little bit, make sure I'm hydrated. So then I'm rested, hydrated, ready to go. When the competition's on, I'm able to do the best performance I can possibly do. So if you guys look at this, there's 2 sets to it. There's preparation and there's preparation before the contest, okay? There's preparation that you do in your room, there's practice, and then there's preparation that you kind of do in your contest. And these combined together make you a consistent performer, all right? If you mess up one of the 2, i.e. don't practice, and you're super charged up on the day, you're still gonna screw up. So my routine at Hangzhou, right? I didn't practice that 3-minute performance. It ended up being a train wreck as well. Not necessarily because I was well rested, but because I didn't practice the performance. I deserved to get a really crappy a crappy routine there because I didn't practice it. Similarly, you can rob yourself of all this preparation and practice if you're just tired on the day and basically get to this point where you're just fatigued and out and all the practice that you did is going to waste because you're tired that day. So these 2 clunk together and that's how you become a more consistent yo-yo player. I really feel that this is the most kind of value-added video I've done in a while. But these are all lessons I've learned personally, competition experience. So yeah, if you guys have anyone that would learn from this, anyone that would benefit from this, comment them down below. And basically, if you have any tips of yourself that I don't know, comment it down below. And yeah, any comments and questions and criticisms, post them down below. And I will see you guys next time. So yeah, peace.